Hey, Soul Warriors, welcome, welcome, welcome back. We are back. Thank you so much for all the kind messages we received from people when we took a little
Little
two-week
break.
pause there, a little tiny break to reset and
Yeah.
figure out how we wanted to tweak things. For those of you that are new to us, I am Tara,
And I am Wolf.
and we are the co-founders of Soul Intentions. So Soul Intentions is this amazing community that we have created online for all of the risk takers, the people that don't fit in anywhere, the people that want to live life their own way through their soul's intentions.
Right. The people who want to live outside of that box, exploring all the things that is within and then bring it out.
Exactly. So we want you to feel like you're having a conversation with a trusted friend, a really super close spiritual mentor that you can just talk about the deep things, talk about the real life shit. Because we're always hearing online about, hey, the latest spiritual thing, the latest thing you should try, your vision board or whatever it is. I'm sure you've done all those things. We have too. And you get minimal results because the secret is staying in the middle with all this stuff. They're only tools. And you will hear online about like, oh, I got $1 million in my dream vacation from this, and other people saying it's shit, it doesn't work, it's woo-woo crap. It's
Right.
because the reality is in the middle.
Yeah, and I also think that the secret is about whatever it is that you are desiring within yourself, because you are the creator of it all. And we're just here to jump on that bandwagon so that we can help you out and, just mirror things for you, because that's what the community does. And it's all about you.
What works for you, not what worked for me. I can share what worked for me, and it might spark something in you so you can figure out your own shit. So we're not here to tell you what to do. We're not here to solve your life problems, but we are here to walk by your side. We are here to support, and we are spiritual mentors. So we have this amazing thing. It's called the Soul Note. We tap in each week and we send messages to your inbox with love or sometimes a kick in the ass, whatever you need to hear from your soul that week. So there's a link below if you want to sign up for that. It's totally free and it will come to your inbox.
Be sure to sign up.
Yeah. So this week we want to talk about something that we heard, and it was the suffering is only the invitation.
That stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, how often do we take suffering and just kind of camp out there? Like, oh my God, this is life. This is the way it's going to be from now on. When it's only supposed to be a moment in time to help you grow, tweak, shift the things that you need to.
Yeah, these are the moments where you get to decide. Are you going to become the victim? Or are you going to become the story? And I mean, we've all been there. Like if you are in a story right now, if you're having money struggles, having relationship struggles, whatever it is, perfectly normal. It's part of life. You're not doing anything wrong, but there's different choices you can make, and there's different ways to reinforce what you do want to walk you through it. It's only there for you to have a life experience so you can figure out where you want to go.
Right. I mean, just imagine like if you go about your life saying to yourself that every situation, every suffering, every pain, every happiness, all those things are just simple invitations for you to explore the things within yourself, and then to kind of move about the world like, okay, what experience am I going to have today? What am I going to allow? What am I going to look at? A lesson, a shift, so that I can be a better human being, or at best tap into the parts of myself that are so incredibly powerful that you just move easily and flowing through your life, because that's truly how it's meant to be. All these little obstacles are just there to help you versus, oh my God, what the fuck is happening? And take it all in. And then you're like, yep, this is my life. Yep, I don't have any options.
It is what
Yep,
it is.
That's not my choice. That's just the choices. Listen, everything that we do in our life is based upon everything we have decided or not decided on. Still a choice. So when you address your life in a way where you're exploring why and getting super curious, then you're moving on a whole different level.
Yeah, it's all about shifting your frequency when you're into something. And if you're consistently pointing outside, like this happened because that person or because that thing or that job, you're stuck in a hamster wheel cycle, and it's not going to get you where you want to go. And then you're like, but my dream, and I'm always talking about my dream. But yeah, but you're on the hamster wheel. So you're not really moving. You're staying right where you are. It's like taking your power and shoving it in a bottle with a real tight cork and then just walking around, shaking it, hoping it explodes at some freaking point and you get what you seriously want. But it's keeping that bottled up. You can't keep your power bottled up anymore. You can't live through the power of your pain and live through the powering of your suffering and expect the things that come from your true power to start to manifest.
I get really excited at the idea of looking at what happens in my life as an invitation to something else. It really is exciting because it puts you on that, from the gate, on a different energy level that you're used to. I mean, we're so used to playing on a certain level, and life is all about the energetics. Money is energy, love is energy, power is energy. I mean, you think about those things. Now, if you decide that everything is going to be based on your curiosity and you're going to keep your energy level on a certain vibration, then you find yourself being in your power. At least that's what it feels like to me when I'm really in that space. So I invite you to allow.
Well, there's invitations everywhere. So are you going to meet the energy of the situation, or are you going to walk in your own? That's what it comes down to. I heard a story this morning from somebody I really respect. And he said that, he had this awareness when he was only in middle school. So this is going way back for him. He had a kid in school who had like braces on his leg. And everybody was always making fun of him and this and that. And he was an athlete and he was trying to get somewhere. And this kid was in the hallway, taking him forever. So he said something not very kind to him and bolted by him. Then recess happened. He goes out to recess and this little boy is sitting under the bleachers all by himself sobbing. And he walks out and he sees him. And when he sees him, it triggers in his head that this is how he's felt his whole life with his two older brothers picking on him and bullying him. And he knows how that kid feels. And he did that to that kid by what he said. And he said he didn't know what came over him, but he had this sudden urge to just walk up to him, this courage that he didn't normally had because he was just in his, little world, and walked up and sat with the kid and took his hand. And he's like, look, I'm so sorry I said that to you. He remembers his name to this day, 25 years later. And he realized that he was putting out the energy that he had been receiving. And he forgave himself many years later when he realized that it's not my fault that I was a little kid and this is what I was learning because this is how people were treating me. And this is what was flowing through me. And I didn't know how to manage my own emotions and I didn't know how to manage my own energy at that point. So I was getting bullied and said these mean things too. All the kids around me were doing it. So I did it. And then I realized my integrity, that didn't feel good to me. And I made a different choice. And he goes, and that day I held Timmy's hand and I looked him in the eyes and I kept apologizing over and over and over again until he could feel it pouring out of me. And he actually looked me in the eye and he said, I believe you. He said that was a moment for both of us and it forever changed him. So this invitation of suffering is looking at, are you just putting out the energy that you've been receiving? Or are you putting out the energy of who you are as a person? What matters to you? That loving, that empathetic, that courage that just comes over you and you don't know why, because you're an open channel for everything in the universe that is all good to flow through you and make a difference in this world. I want to give you a quick message before we get back to this episode. Unlock the secrets of your soul for free with Soul Notes. Say goodbye to feeling stuck and hello to the validation of your alignment. These weekly prompts are filled with reminders, gentle nudges, and sometimes a kick in the ass, all with love from your soul. Don't just take our word for it. Try Soul Notes for yourself and see the difference it can make in your life. Trust us, your soul and you will thank you. Just go to soulnote.org. That's SOULNOTE.org Now back to our podcast.
I think about it and I can't help but remember just recently where I personally decided to look at soul intentions in a very different light. Mm-hmm. You know, because it felt very repetitive. It felt like, you know, like things weren't moving for me. My creativity kind of rock bottom, and like a lot of different energetics were just kind of like very, very low vibration, and I wasn't sure. And then, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, why is this feeling like this? But then I continue to do what I always do.
Yep. Make the video, post the content.
And then again, getting curious, why am I feeling like this? Then it's light bulb went on. I'm still doing the same shit. Of course, nothing's going to change. So when I deliberately decided that I was going to look at this energy that's flowing through me, this very low energy, and explore what is it targeting? What do I need to shift when it comes to those things? And I pretty much had put my mind into, okay, I'm going to do something different every single day. Most important is that I'm going to verbalize things as often as I possibly could, because I tend to kind of keep my shit in. And since I decided that, again, I invited that energy in as a lesson to change what needed to change. And now moving forward, it just feels lighter. It feels better. It feels like things are actually moving. And I feel like a completely different person than I was a week ago. You know, it takes that much, you know, very, very little, just to kind of shift your shit.
Right. And it doesn't have to be this divine moment like in the first story where something just came over him and he walked up to the little boy. It can be I can't say the word, recognizing that something's not working for you and keeping your awareness open and keeping your curiosity going. And then after those things, or if maybe neither of those things have worked for you and you just know something feels stagnant in your life, it's practice. I want to feel good. I want to feel free. Talking to yourself about freedom, talking to yourself about happiness, getting outside, connecting with nature, connecting with the things that make you feel those feelings. This is the thing. We come up with a plan, which is basically, we think it's a goal, a plan, an intention. It's an expectation. Like, I've been doing X, Y, and Z. I've been posting on Instagram for 10 years, and so I should be a trillionaire by now. Like, you know, or I should have helped 17 million people. Like, these are all expectations on what we've decided things need to look like.
The ego rears his head.
It is.
That's for sure.
It's total ego.
And it was pointed out to me too. And I was like, wow,
oh, snap.
Okay, I never even looked at it that way. I love when somebody points something out. It really sits in me in such a way. It's like, okay, I need to become friends with the ego again. I need to stop doing this because that's the energy that's coming out, but yet I'm expecting a certain thing, you know? So yeah. It's like being really, really aware of yourself. And it's something that we've talked about, you know, when we sit in this place of lower energies, it just kind of snowballs, and it happens in the background, you know, because until I really started to feel it was when I started to pay attention, not knowing that it was simmering back there. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it got closer and closer to the front. And it was just, that's when I saw it, it's like, why am I feeling this way? Why do I, you know, feel a little punchy today or anything like that? And one other thing that I also realized, I hadn't meditated that entire week. And it's the one thing that I do consistently in my life because it puts me in a really balanced place. It sets my nervous system and puts my nervous system right back into balance. And it just gives me the opportunity to open up in a different way to the world, to myself, to my environment. So it's just like not doing that for a week also put me in a certain kind of way. And I was really all up in my feelings that week.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not something that I usually do. Something that I need to explore more, obviously, because I am not into my feelings a lot, because I'm a firm believer that I am in control of my feelings. My feelings are in control of me.
Yeah.
I think that's important to me. I mean, if it's important to you, that's something. But yeah, so meditation was another key that I hadn't been doing that.
And that's the beauty of falling off of things. So instead of beating yourself up like, oh, I haven't meditated, I'm supposed to be doing this and that, loosening up on that, because that gave the opportunity for these different things to come out of her. I mean, she had an anger moment with a bee over a bagel at one point. Like, we had all these little things.
It wasn't pretty.
No, go check out the short or the reel, depending on what platform you're on. It was pretty funny. But in the moment, it wasn't. Like, all her stuff started getting triggered. But the nice thing was that it was up. So it was apparent. And it's like, okay, these are things now that I can either take as suffering or I can look at as an invitation to step higher into what I want. This is all stuff that the ego will start to like kind of hide from you, smoke and mirrors from you, to keep you stagnant, to keep you safe. It's just doing its job. It's not trying to keep you stuck.
Right.
But once you understand how that's in play, you can, instead of getting defensive when somebody's like, you're use your inside voice because anger's spilling all out, or no, that's your ego. Instead of getting defensive, you're like, ha ha. It might be, or yes, it is. And then you can do something about it. So this is re-empowering yourself. It's not trying to find out what you're doing wrong. All that crap we were taught as kids, like, fuck all of that. Everything is okay, and everything is something we can work with.
Yeah.
And once you just, okay, I can work with this, I'm going to keep practicing, and I'm going to keep walking the way I want, the way that works for me, towards what my goals are. Mm-hmm. Then you're good. Like, stick to the plan, not the mood. Stick to the plan, not the expectation. Stick to the plan, but not what everybody else thinks or what everybody else is doing.
Right. And stay super curious. Really, I can't impress upon you enough how staying curious and allowing things that are happening so that you can really figure out what the hell is going on. Because it also triggers your self-awareness. It's like, why are you reacting that way? Mm-hmm. Like, why did I get pissed off at the bee? He was just doing his thing, but it triggered me because I was annoyed. I was, my patience was really low as well. So it just, allowing that and giving yourself the space to let it transition at the same time. Because when you find yourself kind of like this, feeling like this, that's what it feels like to me. Like I'm constricted on some level. When the energies aren't flowing the way they should, that's when the curiosity, the allowing, the inviting, the unfolding comes into place. And if you just sit back and play witness to what the hell is going on, then you're able to jumpstart in a different way. Yeah. Because you don't really want to be reactionary unless it's something that, a safety concern.
Right.
But you don't want to emotionally react to something because that triggered something that happened 7 years ago.
Right. And if you're on the other end of that, like we were out for breakfast that morning having a meeting, if you're on the other side of that, like old me would have tried to fix it, would have tried to change your mood, cheer you up, do all the things, because that felt safer for me to navigate around it. Mm-hmm. And instead, like, I kind of sat back when I noticed like the anger was starting to affect other people around us. That's when I was like, you're using your outdoor voice with the anger of the bee. And then I just sat back and enjoyed my latte and gave her space to do whatever the heck she wanted, because it wasn't about me. It had nothing to do with me. It was her process. So I held space for it, told her if she needed to talk about it, cool. And she was like, nope, cool. Mm-hmm. That's your gig. I'm going to be over here doing mine, and and that's good. So you don't have to get caught up in other people's process either.
Right.
So
especially if it makes you uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of us go into that, oh, I need to change this, I need to do this, or I need to do that, because you're feeling uncomfortable at someone else's process.
and then you're blocking their process.
Exactly.
So it's just going to keep repeating itself because they're not being able to have the space to have the awareness.
Right, right. Holding space for someone who's having a hard time is one of the most honorable things to me that I can witness. That's for sure. And when somebody does it for me, that they're holding space, that's even. And there aren't a lot of people that can do that.
No, it's powerful. Just
Yeah.
get quiet. Offer, if there's anything I can do, cool, and expect that they might snap back, depending on what type of space, or they might cry. It doesn't matter. You're just there being you with an open heart, being empathetic, and you doing you instead of taking it personally and notice because that old me, that was my nervous system getting up because of somebody's anger or somebody else's behavior. And that's where the people pleasing comes in. That's where the trying to manage and control a situation, keep everybody happy so I can be okay. So, you can have all these awarenesses just watching somebody else's process instead of jumping in and trying to change their process so that you don't have to deal with yours.
So keep in mind that the suffering is only the invitation to something else,
Yes.
to growth, to shifting, to whatever it is for you. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. You can have what you desire. It's just simple, step by step towards that thing instead of towards whatever life is presenting with us right now.
All right. That's it for me.
Me too.
All right. Be sure to follow, subscribe. And if you need anything, you know how to find us on all our social media. Be kind. Peace.